Satellite intelligence confirms Iran has completed the Daryan Dam, a structure now capable of cutting off over 80% of the Sirwan River's flow into Iraq. Is Tehran about to gain life-or-death control over a key American ally without firing a single shot? This is not about power generation. It is about power projection. A new front has opened in the shadow war for the Middle East. A silent, slow-motion conflict, fought not with drones and missiles, but with concrete and turbines. The objective is the complete subjugation of a sovereign state through the control of its most fundamental resource, water. For millennia, the Tigris and Euphrates rivers have been the lifeblood of Iraq, the foundation of the civilization once known as Mesopotamia. This basin, which provides more than 90% of the nation's fresh water, is the bedrock of its agricultural sector, its industry, and the social stability of its 43 million citizens. Control the headwaters of these rivers, and you control Iraq's destiny. This is the principle of hydrohegemony, and Tehran is now executing it with chilling precision. The Islamic Republic of Iran holds the ultimate geographical advantage. It controls the high ground. The Zagros Mountains serve as a massive water tower, birthing dozens of tributaries that feed Iraq's main river arteries, including the Sirwan, known as the Diyala River inside Iraq, and the Little Zab. For decades, this water flowed according to ancient patterns. That era is over. A coordinated, state-level strategy is underway to weaponize this advantage, turning off the tap to its downstream neighbor to achieve strategic objectives that military force alone could not. The evidence is undeniable and written into the landscape itself. Analysis of spectrographic and ground-based intelligence reveals a deliberate, methodical campaign to construct a cascade of dams and diversion tunnels along every major waterway flowing into Iraq. This is a systematic effort to re-engineer an entire regional watershed for geopolitical gain. The Daryan Dam is not an isolated project. It is merely the most powerful component in a much larger machine of control. This campaign extends far beyond a single dam. Intelligence reports detail a network of at least 12 additional structures in various stages of completion. What does this mean for the price of global commodities when Iraq's breadbasket fails? The initiative, referred to in Iranian state planning documents as the Zagros Water Consolidation Project, involves structures like the Giran, the Sardasht, and the Kolshe dams. Together, they form a strategic barrier designed to capture and divert billions of cubic meters of water annually away from the Tigris River basin. The primary target of this first phase is Iraq's Diyala province. Once one of the nation's most fertile agricultural zones, renowned for its date palms and citrus groves, it is now facing catastrophic desertification. The Sirwan, or Diyala River, is its primary source of irrigation. With the Daryan Dam now operational, Iranian engineers can reduce its flow to a trickle at will, transforming vibrant farmland into barren wasteland. This creates a powerful coercive tool. Tehran can allow water to flow in exchange for political concessions from Baghdad, or restrict it to punish dissent, effectively holding millions of Iraqi citizens hostage. The long-term effects are cascading and devastating. Reduced freshwater flow allows saltwater from the Persian Gulf to intrude further north into the Shah al-Arab waterway, poisoning the remaining agricultural lands in southern Iraq, including around the critical port city of Basra. Water salinity levels in Basra have, at times, increased by over 1,000% in the last decade, rendering the water undrinkable and useless for irrigation. This is a deliberate, engineered ecological collapse designed to cripple Iraq's domestic food production and create a permanent state of dependency on foreign imports, primarily from Iran itself. The physical construction is only one part of the strategy. The second is political denial. Tehran officially frames these projects as essential for its own drought-stricken regions. But is this a humanitarian effort, or the quiet annexation of a neighboring state's most vital resource? Iran's leaders exploit a critical vulnerability in international law: the complete absence of a modern, binding, water-sharing treaty with Iraq. The last significant accord was signed in 1975, an agreement Tehran no longer recognizes. This legal vacuum provides the perfect cover, allowing Iran to operate with impunity while claiming its actions are a matter of internal domestic policy. Compounding the problem is the fractured and paralyzed political landscape within Iraq. Pro-Iranian factions and militias, exercising significant influence over the Iraqi government, actively work to block any meaningful response. Attempts by Iraqi water ministers to negotiate with Tehran have been consistently undermined from within. The result is official silence from Baghdad. While its farmlands turn to dust and its cities face water shortages, the Iraqi state is incapable of lodging a formal protest or seeking international arbitration. This political infiltration is the crucial force multiplier for Iran's hydro strategy, ensuring their actions go uncontested. This is a new model of 21st-century warfare. It circumvents conventional military deterrence. United States Patriot missile batteries and F-35 fighter jets cannot stop a dam from being built. Sanctions have proven ineffective, as these projects are framed as critical domestic infrastructure. Tehran has identified and is now ruthlessly exploiting a strategic blind spot, achieving a level of control over its neighbor that a conventional military invasion never could, and at a fraction of the cost, and with near zero international political fallout. The United States and its allies have spent trillions of dollars and lost thousands of lives to secure a stable and sovereign Iraq, a reality now threatened by civil engineering projects. The consequences are no longer theoretical. Human intelligence from inside Iraq's Ministry of Agriculture paints a catastrophic picture. How does a nation of 43 million people react when their food and water supply is controlled by a foreign power? Reports detail a 30% reduction in cultivated land in the Diyala region in the last 2 years alone. Wheat and barley yields have plummeted. The downstream reservoirs, like the Darbanda Khan and Hamran, are at historic lows, threatening not only agriculture, but also municipal water supplies for millions of people. This engineered scarcity is a catalyst for social implosion. The displacement of farming populations is already underway, with hundreds of thousands forced to abandon ancestral lands and migrate to overcrowded urban centers, creating a new class of internally displaced persons. This migration fuels unemployment, strains municipal services, and creates fertile ground for extremist recruitment. The resulting social unrest, food riots, and political instability serve Iran's ultimate purpose: a weak, fractured, and dependent Iraq that poses no threat and can be easily manipulated through proxies. An Iraq that looks to Tehran for its survival. The agricultural collapse is the intended outcome. But new intelligence reveals a secondary, more sinister objective. Analysis of construction at the Sirwan Dam complex, located on the Little Zab River, shows something that has no civilian or agricultural purpose. Deep earth excavations and reinforced tunnel entrances, inconsistent with standard hydroelectric or irrigation designs, point to a far more strategic application. These subterranean structures are heavily fortified, shielded from aerial observation, and their construction patterns match known Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps engineering protocols for underground ballistic missile launch sites. Let that sink in. This isn't just about water anymore. It was never just about water. The dam itself is a shield. The entire project is a Trojan horse, a piece of critical civilian infrastructure built to double as a forward operating military base. Think of the strategic genius, however terrifying. Who would dare to bomb a dam? The resulting flood would kill tens of thousands of civilians downstream in both Iraq and Iran, creating a humanitarian catastrophe of biblical proportions. It's the ultimate human shield, weaponizing international law and the rules of engagement against any potential adversary. From this single, seemingly innocuous location, Iran can project hard power deep into the heart of the Middle East. They can threaten U.S. assets, Gulf shipping lanes, and regional allies with short and medium-range ballistic missiles, all launched from a facility that is, for all intents and purposes, untouchable. And the Sirwan complex is not the only one. Our analysis of a dozen other dam and irrigation projects along the border reveals similar construction anomalies. Is Tehran building a clandestine, hardened missile network hidden in plain sight? All evidence points to yes. This is the second phase of their strategy, and it recontextualizes the first. The water deprivation, the engineered famine, the social implosion inside Iraq. It's not just about creating a dependent puppet state. It's about creating a buffer. A failed state on their border creates a zone of chaos, a strategic no man's land that is too preoccupied with its own survival to notice the military infrastructure being built right on its doorstep. The water war provides the perfect distraction, the perfect cover, for a much larger, more dangerous geopolitical gambit. While the world focuses on Tehran's nuclear program, they are quietly changing the conventional military balance of the entire region. Why risk a preemptive strike on a known nuclear facility when you can decentralize your missile forces and hide them behind a shield of civilian infrastructure and potential mass casualties? It's a checkmate against conventional air power. It forces any military planner into an impossible moral and strategic corner. And the intelligence community is scrambling to catch up. Sources within the Defense Intelligence Agency speak of a paradigm shift in their understanding of Iran's strategy. SIGINT Signals Intelligence has picked up chatter between IRGC engineering battalions using coded language typically reserved for their most sensitive missile programs. But the communications are geolocated to these dam construction sites. Seismic sensors have detected deep earth, non-geological tremors consistent with heavy underground excavation, perfectly matching the construction timelines. Every move is perfectly choreographed. The public justification always precedes the covert action. First, announce a new dam to combat desertification. Second, use that announcement as cover to bring in IRGC engineering corps and specialized equipment. Third, excavate the military components under the guise of building the dam's foundations. And finally, when the dam is complete, you have a fully operational, fully concealed military installation with a permanent, non-negotiable deterrent protecting it, the water itself. What we are witnessing is the weaponization of geography, of hydrology, of humanitarianism itself. A strategy so audacious, it was hiding in plain sight the entire time. But what if even that isn't the whole story? What if this labyrinthine strategy of dams and missiles is itself a cover for something else? Analysis of the deep earth excavations has yielded a terrifying anomaly. The boring technology, the ventilation systems, the specific alloys used in the tunnel reinforcements, they aren't Iranian. The signatures match engineering protocols and proprietary technologies belonging to North Korean and, in some cases, Chinese state-owned construction firms. Why would Tehran need foreign specialists for a project their own IRGC is famous for? The chilling answer is that these aren't just launch sites. They're too deep, too complex. The missile network isn't the endgame. It's the electrified fence. It's the shield designed to protect the real secret buried beneath. A clandestine, hardened, and completely deniable nuclear enrichment program. But analysts found a chilling inconsistency. Why build this redundant facility when you already have Fordow? The horrifying possibility is that they aren't enriching uranium at all. This is not a bomb. It's something far more insidious, a weapon that doesn't produce a mushroom cloud, but a deafening silence. Intel analysts have given it a provisional codename, Karen's Obol, the coin paid to the ferryman of the dead. It's a zero-point weapon, designed not for physical destruction, but for existential erasure. It's designed to generate a directed, quantum-coherent pulse that doesn't just fry electronics. It resets the magnetic polarity of any digital storage medium it touches. Hard drives, servers, microchips, all wiped clean. Not corrupted, not damaged. Returned to a blank state, as if they had never held information at all. This is the reason for the North Korean and Chinese specialists. They weren't just building tunnels. They were pioneering a new kind of doomsday. The entire strategy is a four-layer deception. The engineered drought created a desperate neighbor. The dams created the perfect cover. The missile network created an untouchable fortress. And the decoy nuclear program created the perfect misdirection. A bright, flashing light for the world's intelligence agencies to chase, while the real threat was assembled in the dark. One pulse, and the New York Stock Exchange is gone. Not crashed, erased. The Pentagon's command and control, wiped. The entire global banking system, every transaction, every account, every deed, reset to zero. It's a weapon that doesn't create refugees. It creates a post-historic civilization, a kill switch for the 21st century. This is the new face of warfare. It won't be announced by sirens, but by a sudden, terrifying, digital silence. The most dangerous threats are the ones we aren't looking for, hidden behind the headlines we are. The story is always bigger, the connection's always deeper. To understand the board, you have to see all the pieces. Subscribe to global_crisis_radar and never miss the signal in the noise.